house at Little Red to teach our teachers?
Yes.
Where are they from?
They're from Questar BOE. They're staff development trainers that are almost all of them are former classroom teachers that are either national board certified or have had other kinds of training. And so they come mostly from Questar 3, and we've managed to work through and get folks that will work well with our teachers. It was unique in the beginning in that working with two teachers. It's not the most cost efficient sometimes, but we needed to get them where they were and move through. We do some joint things out there as much as we can, and I'm searching around a little bit. We want to do some things with social studies, and so I've made several phone calls and so on to see if anybody wants to do something in that social studies arena in elementary school. So we reach out where we can, and to be able to provide that. It also is good for our teachers to be involved with other teachers, and that we've forged relationships with Lionsville and so on in the past year as well. So I think we're in pretty good shape. We'll continue to monitor and.
Well, this was the formalization of our chat. A lot of this stuff we've been doing.
Well, yeah, we've been doing. Well, what I found when I came is that the district had been doing this at RTI for.
Well, since you came on.
Well, yeah, but even before that, there was evidence of that because there were summaries of children who had been worked with, and I can't comment on what that structure was because I wasn't here. But I did see evidence of that. So you had been gearing up for a while, and I came in August of 2012. So it was before that. We just, when I came, we just kind of, regrouped. I knew we needed to add depth, and that was part of the intention with the hire that resulted in Sarah. We were looking for someone who was certified in reading and certified in elementary ed, so we could provide some depth within the classroom itself. And that's what started. But yes, the district was involved in that. I can't comment on how it went or what the structure was, but there was evidence of that because there were progress monitoring reports on students. So
Thank you. We'll move along about appointments and organization. Could I please have a motion for approval of the CFE through DFE?
I'll make a motion.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also would like a motion for adoption of Board Policy 7560, which is our response to intervention services.
I make a motion.
Second.
Any further discussion?
the discussion on this is pretty straightforward. It's that the question was raised about did we have a policy? We have our implementation plan, and we have all of the pieces in there, but we didn't have a policy. So this policy reflects the regulation, and so that's what you have in front of you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd also like a motion for approval for creation of a part-time instructional support services and curriculum and instruction position effective September 11, 2014.
I'll make a motion.
I second.
Any discussion?
Yes, this has to do with the discussion, for a while now, but particularly at the last board meeting, where I outlined the nature of those responsibilities. I don't know if we need me to go over the nature of those responsibilities again, or you have those.
I have them.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
And we're very excited to have someone come in again to assist with all of that day-to-day
Duty, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'd also like a motion to appoint Kathy Meany as our part-time instructional support service in curriculum and instruction.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Discussion is, that we advertised for the position, we received candidates, and we I screened out of that in terms of the eligibles for that have the background as we talked about at the last meeting. Interviews were conducted, and we're very lucky. And she's very, very good. And she has a lot of certifications, which is like a bonus. But she is a retired superintendent who has background, a substantial background, many years of teaching in special ed, years of teaching in general ed, and years of being a principal at the elementary level. So we're very lucky. It was a good timing.
And being a part of the hands-on with this whole process, I have to
Yeah.
say, I was very impressed and pleased with,
Yes.
with the pool of candidates and our outcome. All in favor?
Aye.
I'd also like a motion for approval of the ISS and C&I contract with Kathy Meany effective September 11th, 2014 through June 30th, 2015 at a rate of $22,000.
I'll make a motion.
I second.
The ISS is the Instructional Support in Curriculum Instruction. A lot of
Yeah.
letters.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And also, if I could have a motion for approval of donation from Target.
We got another donation from Target.
Yeah.
A motion.
I second.
And if,
No, we're just very happy. We're looking with the teachers to target, but to target how we use the money. I'm guessing it will probably be both. That's the thing that I always want to, that I always like to look at.
Okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving along to our next board meeting will be on October 8th.
Do you want to just mention you went to that Zoom meeting?
Sure.
Business?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Business, thank you. I know Matt has been.
I know Tara's not here. but-
Yeah, I went to the
Tara.
planning board meeting on Monday.
Mhm.
I met with the chairman of the board over there. His name's Mark Lacavita.
Mhm.
And we just discussed keeping the lines of communication open between Little Red School Board and the Planning Board Commission. He did advise that they did send some letters over the summer advising about the proposed development over here in Glenwood Road. He said that they had some computer upgrades this summer, so some emails were lost, so we didn't know if we really received
We just
them.
started getting the emails. We're on their list now for, which I want, with other schools, I guess, that have property in North Greenbush town. So we got our first email the other day, last week or so. They're going to be sending the minutes, or the agendas of the meeting. So that's very helpful. I'm glad you went.
But he said that the lines of communication are always open.
Good.
Thank you, Matt. All right, next board meeting is scheduled for October 8th, 2014, 6 o'clock right here at Little Red Schoolhouse. And was there any public comment on that?
Did you sign up?
All right, I
Go
have
sign
one
up.
person that has requested to sign up to speak. Meredith?
Um,
That's several subject areas.
I am really frustrated. I feel ignored. Can you please explain to me what the hours of operation are and when I should be able to get a hold of somebody at Little Red? Because I've left 2 voicemails and nobody's called me back.
I do believe that the office hours are posted on the door and the school
Okay,
is
well-
back in session.
We have a website, and there's nothing on there about the hours of operation.
Well, the office is open daily 9 to 3.
We don't know that though.
Okay, so 9 to 3.
Well, 9 to.
Okay, now we do.
9 to 3, Monday through Friday.
Yes.
The other thing that I asked about that I still am not clear on is if there was any inquiry to Gardner Dickinson about working with them for instructional support services.
No. For a share? No.
Is there a reason why that wasn't done?
Well, we had marching orders on, we were looking for someone that would be able to be here and available for our teachers to be able to do this particular job. And I also know that that person is very flat out there, but that's another issue. But the share, you're kind of talking about a share for a shared service?
Well, I guess this stems from being unclear about what exactly this new person is going to do. Maybe that's where I'm confused, because I have no idea like what the job responsibilities are, because no communication was sent to anybody.
It was discussed at the last.
Yeah, but you didn't. There was nothing handed out,
Oh.
and the parents don't even know. So you didn't include the public, which was requested.
Well, the board is part of the public, and we are really well informed of what our role is and how we handle the matter of the employment and the staff and the jobs and the tasks.
But I believe a parent also inquired about being part of that. Can you explain to me how the board email works? Like, what's the procedure? Who receives it? How's it dispersed? What's the response time, like, that the public can expect? You know, how, like, just expectations to be set up?
Well, it's, as you know, very new and very newly set up. At this point, the entire board and the office staff is able to have access to that. And as far as timely fashion, are you talking during our work days?
No, just what's a fair assumption for a response time?
I guess, you know, with it being newly set up, we have not really discussed that, but I would imagine, you know, we do have other things beside this that we handle, and we will do our best to be as timely as possible. That's all I can say.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
I actually have a question, even though I'm not signed up. Oh, you have to be signed up now? Well, that policy changed because that wasn't the policy last time, and I wasn't aware of that policy.
I didn't even make a comment, though.
Okay.
I didn't make a comment. I would love for you to sign up, obviously, but we always accept comments if somebody else wanted to. But
Okay.
I thought the protocol would be, if you really wanted to share, you could always sign up too.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wasn't aware of that policy.
Well, it's kind of been out there every week.
Okay. Well, we've
Never
never used
can
it
you,
before. But okay, so my question is, and I've asked the same question since June. I asked it 3 times in an email. I asked it, I think just yesterday in an email. I asked it publicly in June, and it was sort of talked around, but my question wasn't answered. My question is, and has been for the past 4 months, it was stated that when you decided to restructure the district, that you talked with many resource people regarding the restructuring of the district. And I would like to know who the many resource people are that you spoke with.
That question, I'll field that one. Karen, you asked that because it was a comment that I had made that we talked to other resource people.
But I would like to know who is influencing, who are you going and seeking advisory opinions?
The board and I are the influence here. Finding out other information on availability of, or just information, we do that all the time. I do that all the time. So, you know, I will certainly ask questions. My process is to ask questions, get good information, bring it to the board, and then have them make decisions based on the information.
Okay. And I also want to say that you said that there was an outline of the nature of responsibilities handed out at last month's meeting. We were all here. We don't have that outline. We don't know what this person is doing. We don't know what days they're working.
We never said we handed anything out. We shared verbally.
Mm-hmm. When I asked you what the title of the position was, you didn't even know the title yet last month. You looked at your paper and you said it's going to be curriculum something like that. So you didn't have a full-blown description of what this person was going to be doing, their duties, which days they were working. None of that was provided to any community members or parents.
What was read, Karen, was what I have right here, actually, from the last meeting. This is what was read. I hand it out? No, I never said I handed it out. I handed it to the board. I will read it again. I'll be glad to do that. As you know, we have discussed the need for an additional part-time person to assist the district with its day-to-day operations, as I am needing to work a reduced schedule which concentrates on coordinating, mentoring, and supervising the operations of the district, including budget and finance. Specifically, these identified needs include someone doing the following: coordinating the day-to-day educational programs of the district, including but not limited to the academic program, providing curriculum and assessment resources to staff, assisting staff in using technology to extend and support student learning, providing for training and best instructional practices in specific content areas, assisting staff in analyzing student performance data and differentiating instruction, and coordinating the provision of special education services. At this time, I am recommending that we advertise for a part-time instructional support services for curriculum and instruction position after a final review with the school attorney. That's what I read at the last meeting.
And the position closed on Friday.
And the position closed on Friday, that is correct. Okay?
I would just like a little bit more of sharing of information, because we really, truly are being left out. We really are. And I know you don't see that as an issue, but we are here telling you it's an issue.
Okay, well, I appreciate your comments. All right?
I'll put it on.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
Yes. May I?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Beth Barassa, White Mountains, Manhattan. I'm the school attorney. First of all, I want to thank you for being here. You know, your being here shows that you're very, very invested in the education of the children in this district, and that's terrific. I wish there were more public participation in meetings. But I just want to clarify from a legal perspective what public participation in meetings means. These folks, these volunteer elected members who you and your fellow residents and taxpayers have elected, have full-time jobs, they have families, and they give up an enormous amount of their own time to try to do the right thing for this district and for these kids. And we're sitting here in this wonderful historical classroom because of the dedication of these folks and their predecessors. They have gone significantly above and beyond the requirements of public participation and being responsive to questions. There is no legal right for a resident, a taxpayer, to interrogate a board member or a superintendent and expect constant responses to questions. That doesn't exist. Nevertheless, they have made every attempt to be as responsive as they can be to you. There is certainly no right of the public to have input or participate in the decisions leading up to the creation of a position or filling that position or interviewing for that position. Those are prerogatives of the elected members of the Board of Education upon the advice and recommendation of the superintendent. It is, to the best of my knowledge, and I represent a lot of school districts, virtually unheard of to have the kind of flow of information and constant responsiveness to questions that you were asking for. So while we welcome your participation and we welcome your interest in this district, you do need to recognize that these folks have up till now gone way beyond the minimum legal requirements, and it is their prerogative whether to continue to go above and beyond those legal requirements as they have done, or whether at some point they may no longer be able to do that. Sometimes when it gets to the point, and I'm not saying that that's happening here with any of the people in this room, but sometimes when it gets to a point where just one or two or a handful of residents are monopolizing so much time of the administrators and of the volunteer board members, there does get to be a point sometimes where there needs to be a new method of communicating. Public comment is just that. It's public comment. It is not an opportunity for questions and interrogations. So they've been extremely gracious in responding to that. And I just want to clarify for all of you who have any doubts with respect to the level of transparency or openness of this board, that they are way, way beyond what they need to be doing. So I hope that you are all appreciative of that and of the amount of time that these good folks are giving up for the benefit of your children and all of the other children in this district. Thank you.
I have a question. When you are sending emails and they're not being answered, you have no choice but to come to public meetings and to ask your questions then, because your emails are being ignored.
And again,
So I'm not asking you to answer, I'm just stating that
you
what's
can make
happening.
comments. Public comment is for public comment. It is not intended and need not be used for interrogations. Again, these folks have tried to go above and beyond and be responsive to questions. But at some point, the constant interrogations, certainly as taxpayers, I'm sure you don't want it to get to a point where they need to hire an additional person to do nothing but respond to constant public inquiries. So just, bear in mind that these folks are elected volunteers with full-time jobs and full-time families, and they're doing the very best they can for the benefit of this district, for all of you and for all of your fellow residents who are not here tonight. So again, thank you for being here.
As a taxpayer and a parent, though, the board is beholden to the taxpayers and the parents. And if there are concerns that need to be addressed, we have every right to ask that, and we do expect an answer. And there's a group of us here, we're not getting that. And that's problematic. These are elected officials.
Thank you. At this point, our public comment session has ended. If I could please have a motion for adjournment.
Wow.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.